Hello. So this is a podcast that we'll be shooting for First Cut. First Cut is an international student-run film festival, and this is the seventh edition of First Cut. And today we have a very famous cinephile with us. She is Basundhara Ghosh, and famously known as Gangs of Cinepur on Instagram. So she reviews and different movies, mostly Indian cinema, regional as well as Bollywood mainstream. And yeah, Basundhara, go ahead, talk about yourself, like introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's a great pleasure. I'm always enthusiastic to talk about what I do on my Instagram page. So, for people who don't know, my work is basically in Instagram, so I don't have other social media handles for the page because I found it's more, it feels very like a positive space and it feels very personal, like, it's in people's hands in the mobile phone. So I thought of sticking to that medium. But so my page is essentially focused on Indian cinema, and very recently I've started also to talk about films in the Indian subcontinent, but I have not explored that area much. I just started to do it few months ago. So the reason being that I initially it was made for selfish purposes, as in I wanted to find like-minded people to discuss films with, because I got more interested in Indian cinema beyond Bollywood. So I'm a Bengali, so I've been watching Bengali films since childhood. But then I started exploring South Indian cinema, and I wanted to find people I could talk to about those films. But among my immediate friend circle, I didn't have enough people who took interest in all these films. So I thought of starting an Instagram page, because that time there weren't too many of such kind of pages. Now you will find a lot. But when I started back at the end of 2018, uh, it was quite an empty ground there. So maybe that's the reason also many people found interest in the page. But that's how it all started. And yeah, thankfully I actually managed to find a lot of people who watch regional cinema and want to see Indian cinema go beyond what we think of it generally, like reduced to mainstream Bollywood films, song and dance sequences, nothing much there. So that was the whole purpose and the
Yeah.
motive, and yeah, since then it's going on like that.
Yeah, I also discovered your page like almost a year ago, sometime in the
Ah,
beginning of 2020. Um,
that's how
so
many
I
people
feel like,
because of the whole lockdown situation and everything,
yeah,
people
everyone
are
was
always
just
on
living
social
online. So
media.
yeah, and I loved your insights. I went through your feed again today, to just think about
Research.
yeah, research. But yeah, and the insights you give about the characters of different films. I think you focus a lot on characters in general that are
Mhm.
portrayed and how they're portrayed,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing insights. I think the first one that I read was of this movie called Dear Comrade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. I was very scared as well because like Arjun Reddy, oh no, but
Yeah, because when I started watching the movie, I thought it's like, because this guy Vijay Deverakonda, he ends up playing this always this person who's angry all the time. I thought this is going to be another Arjun Reddy, but it was a pleasant surprise. I really liked the movie.
yeah, same. And then I came across, like I was looking for posts about it on Instagram, and then I came across your page, I think. And yeah, in general, like the insights you give about characters are really great because normally I feel film critics or just people who review films online, they have different focus areas that they
Mhm.
everyone individually, right? But I see your page like really focuses on the character, and like how the characters contribute to storytelling.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
So like tell me about that. Like how did you uh, do you think about that? Do you mainly think about characters? It's just a pattern I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Or are there other
I'm
things you
noticing
look
after you
at
are
as well?
mentioning. I didn't notice it before. It's true.
Oh, okay. But how do you view films? Like, as a film student, normally we're taught to, if you're looking at a film academically, or if we want to learn from a film, we're told to make notes while watching it.
Hmm.
But as a critic or a reviewer, how do you view them? Do you first watch the whole thing, then comprehend your thoughts and write it down, or you think about them while watching?
Um, I think most often I think about it while watching, but sometimes also after, like, when I'm watching something, I've also tried taking notes. I won't lie. I've done that a few times, but I think it takes away the experience from,
Yeah.
like, I could do it if I watch the whole thing once and then watch it the second time and then take notes, but that's a time consuming process and I feel like I don't want to do it. So, yeah, basically when I'm watching something, somehow it clicks that this is the thing I want to write about, because Instagram has a limit, so I cannot, if I'm writing a full-fledged article, that will be very different from what I write on Instagram, because it tells me that you can only write this much. So I have to kind of focus on one or two aspects. I divide it up into 3 or 4 paragraphs, and then something introductory, then the second paragraph will have what I actually want to talk about, and the third paragraph is more like concluding remarks. But it's structured like that, but not limited only to that. So oftentimes, like, if I'm halfway through the film, I kind of know what I want to talk about, but then towards the end there's a climax or something which changes my perspective completely, either for the good or the bad, and then the output comes out something completely different. But I don't spend too much time pondering over what I want to talk about, because I want it to be spontaneous so that it looks natural. So I never, until now, I've never really like jotted down points about the write up or anything. I start with the first sentence and let it flow, whatever comes up. And when you're asking, like, how do I decide what to observe? In my case, it's characters in particular. I think it's basically due to my ignorance about filmmaking and everything. So, because when you are a student of films, because you're instructed to look at it in a certain way, so you do that, right? And you're thinking of the cinematography or the direction and writing, and you're thinking, looking at it from different angles, because there are different departments working in a film. For me, I just came to know the meaning of cinematography 2 years ago. So it's like, okay, this frame looks beautiful,
Same, honestly, don't
no, but
worry.
still you're studying it, like you're studying it formally. I never did that. So,
But
but
I'm getting the
I,
chance to do it, so
yeah, I would say I am more drawn towards the writing and the characters, and the writing and the characters should fit together, right? Because you're having a storyline, and the character should contribute to the storyline, and the storyline should contribute to the development of the characters. You cannot have them independent of each other, and that's the area I focus on, because I'm not uh, knowledgeable in the other technical aspects, first of all, and secondly, when I watch a film, I want to relate to the characters or empathize with them, or put myself in their shoes and see what I could have done if I were in their position. That's what characters are supposed to make you do, because otherwise they become forgettable. So
hmm.
that's the whole point of, for me, that's how I look at movies, that am I going to remember this person, this fictional character from this movie, after I'm done watching it. Sometimes even if I don't like the story so much, if the character stays with me, I'm still happy. Yeah.
Also, like one shocking thing, I was thinking of asking this in the beginning, but you are a PhD and you are a doctor. I just went to your profile and saw that in your bio, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, you do that And then you're,
Actually,
handling this whole
the
Instagram page.
frustration of PhD life is somehow responsible for me starting this whole thing. Uh, because you look for an escape, somehow like life becomes a bit boring. You're doing the same thing from morning to evening, and like so. Thankfully, I started 2018, right? So it was like in the beginning of the third year of my PhD, and so thankfully that time I started watching different kinds of Indian cinema, and I knew I loved writing since childhood, so I wanted to mix these two things. So it worked out well. It helped me get a release from the PhD frustration, and I also finished my PhD, and I also did well with the page, so everything was win-win. I'm happy.
That is amazing because, like, for me, writing can be a bit strenuous sometimes because I don't feel I'm like good at giving coherent views of what I'm
It
thinking.
will come with practice. I mean, I also didn't think in the very beginning, I didn't used to write captions only. I mean, I started it like a month later or something. And then in the beginning, also, my captions were small. If I go back and look at them, I feel like laughing. What have I written? So, see, it's been 2 years, and yeah, practice,
Yeah.
consistent practice.
But yeah, about regional cinema, like you said, you recently started. Um, where did you start from? Did you start from like Malayalam cinema, or uh, have you seen a bit of Assamese and all as well?
Yeah, previously I had seen a few Marathi films which I really like the famous ones like Court and Sarat and all
Mhm.
these films. Um, so the inspiration for the page came mainly after I started watching Malayalam films, because I never expected to get so much hooked to them. Like I was watching one Malayalam film after the other every single day, and so I thought, okay, I have to do something about this, because when you watch something really really good and you cannot keep it within yourselves, you want people to talk to about that. Uh, so it's kind of a desire to express myself. That's where it came from. Uh, but I also had watched a few Tamil films before, but it was like more of the popular mainstream ones, which people talk about anyway. Like the first Tamil film I saw was this movie called Three of Dhanush, where it became famous because of Why This Colarity, that song. So that's how it worked. But yeah, Malayalam cinema kind of completely changed my perception about South Indian cinema in general.
Honestly, same. I was also shocked. I discovered it in like 2019 only,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh,
Which one did
all
you
this.
watch?
I think the first one was this Bangalore Days.
That's the case for most people.
Yeah, most people, I think everyone just starts from there.
Yeah.
And I think it was mainly because I saw that movie that came out, right? Karwa.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, wait, this hero is so hot. Okay, so,
Then starts the Dulkar mania.
yeah, and I went on a spree. I was like, I'll watch every movie
Yeah, yeah.
just to look at his face. But then I was like, oh no, these movies are actually good also.
Yeah.
So yeah, Salman. I don't know if I still pronounce his name right, but what a
Dulkar.
guy.
In every interview has to tell the interviewer how to pronounce his name correctly. So
Oh God, yeah, that is sad. I'm sorry. But yeah, other than that, I was like, I saw your story yesterday about how you don't really want to watch comedy movies in regional cinema
Mhm.
because they kind of lose their essence
Yeah.
in the translation. And that's the first time I think I read that, like someone saying that, and it made so much sense. uh, I was like, that is so true. That is so true
It's not just
because
because of the language and translation, it's also there are always some local
nuances.
references that you
Yeah.
cannot get. Like I know, so I have tried watching comedy films, Hindi comedy films with non-Indian friends,
Mhm.
And I am like, why are you not laughing? It's not their fault, because even if you explain to your friend that this is what it is about, it's still not funny to them, because you have
Yeah,
been hearing for a long time and it came from somewhere else, and it reminds you of something. So humor is a very, very delicate thing, and it has to work, it has to click, and it's not that easy. And so I don't want to, like, if I feel like I'm watching a comedy film that is really funny to a large section of people, and I'm just sitting there with a straight face, I'm like, I feel like I'm insulting the film. And yeah, it doesn't really work.
that is true.
Yeah.
And other than that, what was I thinking about? Um, oh yeah. So like now that you're saying that you always thought like Instagram was a safe space where you could, and it's like really positive, and now your page has become genuinely so famous. I feel like in the lockdown, at least everyone must have come across at least one post of yours and something like that. And so you've probably made a lot of friends also through this page. I'm guessing. So, what do you think about like now that you have this whole online community where you can, interact intellectually almost about films, or even like in the most general way? That what do you think about this story? So, how is it? Like, how does it feel that every time you post, you get so many responses, and sometimes you get other views as well?
Mhm.
Like, how do they make you feel?
Yeah, it's pretty great, because initially, as I told you, my intention of starting this whole thing was to start a conversation around, like, I think everyone has their own interests in films, and then unless you find people to talk about, you don't really feel very nice, because you cannot force your immediate circle of friends to watch something that they're not interested in. So it's like, uh, thanks to the internet, we can find people anywhere we want to talk to. But um, I think there are people who have also, like, met each other through the page and found common interests, which makes me feel very good. And for me, I've definitely interacted with a lot of people. uh, so yeah, but then it's not always that positive. There have been hate and there have been criticize, but it comes with the package. I mean, you cannot help it. There are all kinds of people out there, and if your page is growing, you're bound to face all these things. So initially used to get disturbed, but now I'm kind of zen about it. Like,
I am shocked because, like, what kind of hate does a,
no, it's
you
just
know,
very basic things, because most of the posts, like, they are my personal opinion, and if there's a clash of opinions, people are sometimes impatient, and also it makes it easier to lash out on the internet, because you are hiding behind your phone. You will never meet the other person in your life, so it's kind of, this trolling thing happens sometimes. It's like, I have been completely shocked, because I thought, okay, where is this coming from? But there are times where I've, like, tried to look from their viewpoint, and maybe also understood my own mistake. These things have happened. It's okay. A healthy discussion is fine, but then sometimes I don't know what frustration people have in their lives. They just like, "Da, da, 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 da." I don't want to talk about that. But
that is very sad. I'm sorry you have to go through that.
oh, it's
But
okay.
I
It's part of
mean,
the. I've learned to ignore. Yeah, that's okay.
yeah, I feel like anyone on the online community just like
Yeah,
has
no
like
matter how much positive space you create, it's always going to happen. Very simple things, like, if I making a list of certain songs or movies about something, they'll say, like, I used to early last year, I was also making these like video edits with a particular song and a theme. So I had, like, ode to forgotten love, ode to forbidden love, ode to first love. So I had these, like, three videos,
mm,
and then I included some clippings, and then people are like, where is this, where is that, how can you forget this? I wanted to tell them, why don't you make your own video and not comment under mine? But these things will keep happening anyway, so you cannot stop it. You have to turn off comments on your post, which I don't want to do.
Yeah, people just become like that. I don't know. They feel like once you're on an online space and if you're, posting for people, but they forget that, like, you started it for yourself.
Yeah,
So,
but I also don't, yeah, I don't give blame them completely, because people often think that it's a team behind the page, so they expect
oh,
like a lot of research, and it should be an exhaustive list of things, like different people bringing in different components, but it's the name is misleading, it's not their fault. But I have mentioned in the bio that it's only one admin, but anyway, it's just okay, gang, so it's a gang, and there's a team, and they're like, so there's always a
how did you come
misunderstanding.
up with the names Gangs of Sinapur? Like, was it
It's
just
just, I thought it sounded cool
Gangs of
because Gangs of
Wasipur?
Wasseypur, it's a popular film, and I was kind of surprised that no one else had that name. I was like, okay, this is what I'm taking. Because previously it was a
Yeah.
very uninteresting name. It was like Moments Indian Films. Very uncool. So just one night when I couldn't sleep, I was thinking of some name to change it to, and it just came. Yeah.
That is amazing. And yeah, I just saw you reviewed Katha today, right?
Yeah,
And
love
you
that.
saw
Yeah.
that. And I was reading that and like how you put together the whole story of the tortoise and rabbit, like in the description. At first, I thought you were watching Masoom, like you put on your story, and I was
Many people said Masoom. Yeah.
yeah, and then I was like, oh, Katha. I've seen parts of it as a kid. I don't remember the full movie,
I
but
saw from the for the first time actually.
yeah. But the way like you put the whole thing together, you generally are a great writer. I will keep complimenting that.
Come on. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but like old Hindi cinema, like I feel there are like some of these really good gems that get left out.
Mm-hmm.
Something like Katha and even Masoom and there are like a lot. Others अभी मेरे दिमाग में ना सूरी दिन शाह के ही आ रहे हैं, but yeah, Mandi
Mm-hmm.
and all of these films
Parallel
like
cinema.
hmm?
Parallel cinema.
Yeah. Like uh in the sense I feel like it gets left behind with just like mainstream Bollywood films that come in, like the blockbuster thing
Mm-hmm.
that came up with like Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan movies.
Mm-hmm.
They are nice in their own way, but
Yeah.
like in their own entertainment sense, I feel. But yeah, what do you feel about that? Like, did you start discovering all these old movies recently on OTT platforms? Because that was the case
Mm-hmm.
for me. Uh, but what about you? Like, did you see them as a kid or like did you start discovering recently?
Not these particular films. So I used to watch a lot of old films, but they were mostly like mainstream Bollywood films from the 70s, like Rishikesh Mukherjee stuff, like
Yeah.
films of Rajesh Khanna, Amitabh Bachchan, Dharmendra, all these things. But like late 70s to 80s, these kind of like art house cinema, they
Mm.
started to flourish, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I didn't really watch them as a kid, because I have heard about them, a few of them from my parents, but I think they felt like they were not meant for children, because there was often themes of adultery or extramarital affairs and socio-political commentary and all these things. So they I didn't really watch them as a kid. Maybe I wouldn't have even understood if I watched them as a kid, because they have a
Probably.
lot of layers to them. It's not just surface entertainment. So thanks to a lot of the cinema pages on Instagram themselves.
Mm.
So I think our generation is now like rediscovering these kind of films, because
Yeah.
we are more aware of our surroundings, because we have easy access to information and news, and we know what's happening. So we kind of try to connect contemporary events with what happened decades ago, and somehow these films show us that whatever is happening in politics right now were kind of predicted beforehand, or they were also happening that time. So it's like there's a connection, and it makes us feel that we are witnessing a part of history.
Mm-hmm.
and then you keep going to these films and realize, oh, okay, these are still contemporary, even they're from the 80s. You can still feel the characters, and what makes this film special is that they have very gray characters. They are not acha insan, bura insan. There's a villain and a hero, so you find them more relatable, because as a person, you have both good and bad characteristic traits within yourself, so you want to see that kind of people on screen. Otherwise, you're like, you aspire to be this um, very idealistic hero, which you can never be. Neither are you as evil as the villain. So where do you go? You're somewhere in the middle. And these films, I think for our generation, they they show us a mirror where we can identify ourselves with. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like gray characters have recently become popular, or I don't know, I just grew up and then like I started liking them more maybe. But in general, also, I feel like the web series and everywhere, they have started putting in gray characters in the
Hmm.
spotlight.
And the audience is appreciating that more, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good to see that. But at the same time, I feel like kids would never love that kind of content or never understand that kind of
Yeah, yeah.
content.
Hmm.
Yeah, like the thing that you said, like if I saw these movies as a kid, I would probably not understand them and their layers and probably not
Like
even enjoy them.
Katha, for example, Katha is a very feel good comedy type film, and I would have surely enjoyed it if I watched it as a kid, you know but now that I can connect it so well with the story of the rabbit and the tortoise, and identify that Nasiruddin Shah's character is the tortoise, and Farooq Sheikh's character is that of the rabbit, and how there are more layers added to the characters in the film, which we don't get in the rabbit versus tortoise fable, because that's meant for children, but the film is not meant for children. So you see there's a parallel, but
Hmm.
this thing is deeper, so
Yeah,
that you cannot really appreciate as a child, I think.
obviously.
Hmm.
That's definitely true. And other than that, like I keep coming back to regional cinema, but yeah, when you discovered Malayalam films and like you saw there was this whole community on Instagram and the internet in general that also appreciated these movies. Okay, did you like feel like maybe you should have seen them before and like mainstream Hindi cinema kind of restricted you from exploring them, or maybe they should be advertised more in like general in India?
Hmm. Uh, yeah, I did feel I should have explored them before, but I didn't feel there was a restriction due to the other kinds of films I was watching, because it's like it's a comfort zone, right? So generally, people are not comfortable watching films from language they don't understand or the culture they don't understand. So, and of course, India is so diverse and multicultural. So it's like probably I wasn't ready to get out of my comfort zone so much. And also, there's this stereotype about South Indian movies, which is very sad. Like these Hindi dubbed films you see on TV, these meaningless action sequences and everything. So that
Hero
was an
number
issue.
one.
I was probably biased against the idea. So even now, people tell me that we still have this bias a little bit, but slowly we're trying to overcome it, because we realize so many people are
Yeah,
talking now. Even like Malayalam films are going for Oscar nominations. So
yeah.
it's a whole different situation now, and it has changed so much for the better in the past few years, because more and more people are becoming aware that there's more to it than what we see on TV. So I think I was among those people who just didn't care much, but I'm happy that I've overcome that.
You completely broke for me over there.
Okay. Should I repeat?
Um, is it okay if she repeats? I don't know. Reha, is it okay if will you guys edit the video a little bit? Yeah, yeah, okay.
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 Yeah. So yeah, did you hear about the television part?
No, it completely
South
broke.
Indian movies dubbed in TV.
Oh, yeah.
In the dubbed version of South Indian movies. So that was a problem because that, uh, you know, distorts people's perception quite a lot that this is the only thing there is. But
Mhm.
that's like nothing compared to the vast ocean of good films you can explore. And once you take a plunge, then there's no coming out of that. That's what happened, I'm guessing, with you also once you watched
Yeah,
Bangalore Days, right?
yeah.
So um,
Yeah,
that's
and I
it.
think just like internet in general has helped aided that so much
Yeah, yeah.
uh, because once like the online community started talking about it, um, and all these huge film festivals, and now Oscars in general
Mhm.
are like talking about it, and it's going for Oscars.
Mhm.
So that has definitely had a huge hand in like breaking the stereotype that
Yeah.
South Indian movies are just
I
like
hope it happens even more because there are still a
yeah
lot of people who are in that little
zone, yeah,
zone. Yeah.
that is just people flying and kidnapping and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely there. Do you prefer like a personal genre? Do you have like a preference in genre, or you'll watch like anything good?
I generally watch anything, but I have a an like an inclination towards like slice of life dramas, like feel good content where there are just people living their lives and something that happens and then they go back to their own life like uh, a film like if you have seen Kumbalangi Nights, it's like my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
Malayalam film.
yeah.
So it has got so much into it, but you fall in love with all the characters and
Mhm.
there's this bond of the family and friends, and so I generally enjoy this kind of uh, slice of the life drama kind of films. But I watch everything. I watch thriller, comedy, romance, everything. But it depends a lot on my mood about what I want to watch that time. Generally, since last year has been so traumatizing for everybody, uh, I have last year I mostly watched these kind of light-hearted films because
Makes sense.
yeah, you need to de-stress.
Yeah, even I like during the lockdown, you just go into this comfort hole where you
Yeah.
want to see. I was just rewatching content I watched as a kid.
Yeah, that's so comforting, right? You don't
Yeah,
have to think much, you don't have to analyze. You know these people already, the characters you're seeing. You just want to be with them.
yeah, I was just like living in nostalgia throughout. It was some
That's very good.
sort of denial process, I guess, in the situation we were in.
Hmm.
I was just rewatching all this very bad content from childhood. Like,
Nothing is bad. It's okay.
yeah, I mean, nothing
If
is
something makes you smile and makes you happy and comfortable, it's never bad.
true. True. But yeah, other than that, what I mean, I am out of questions.
You can just talk. No worries. Okay,
Other
you tell me what is your favorite comfortable content?
oh, it's hard to accept, but I love cringy romances.
That's good. Why can't you accept it?
No, no, I feel like it's been looked down upon for so long. I don't know. It's like engraved in my head. That,
Bollywood survives on cringy romances. You cannot look down upon it. There would be no Bollywood without cringy. Like the 90s would be totally obliterated. You cannot.
exactly. That is so true. But yeah, it's just ingrained in my head. I guess it was just before as kids, like just used to think that it's so cringy. Oh, you're watching this kind of mainstream stuff. Oh, you're not edgy enough.
I
You're a
think
film
that's the
student.
point I have made time and again on the page also, and when I tell, like, don't let people dictate what you want
Yeah,
to watch, and it's a completely personal choice. You are not obliged to follow what other people tell you to watch. What's the point
hmm,
of then having different kinds of content? They are meant for different kinds of people. So, I mean, there's no point trying to fit in just for the sake of it.
that is true. And I also feel like for the longest time I felt like as a girl maybe I wasn't supposed to like romances because it's so cliche, and that's what I
That's
used
what
to think.
boys say.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's very
I mean,
confusing. What do you
just
want from people?
just like the whole aspect of male content had hegemony
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your head, like हाँ सिर्फ James Bond cool है.
yeah. Nah, just
Yeah,
express your own likes and dislikes. It's fine.
yeah, that's true. But still, obviously, societal things play a part in your thought process, especially like when you're young. So it genuinely constructs what you think
Mm,
about what you're consuming, what you think is cringy, what's not. It is developed then. Obviously, now that you're old enough, you know
I'm
that
very
nothing
old.
is cringy. I mean, mature enough is the better phrase.
I am definitely old. Mature, I'm not so sure. In the
Uh,
process.
but yeah, how do you handle work and then like how do you get time to watch the film and then write about? I know you're saying that it's therapeutic, but do you still like get the time for it?
Uh, First of all, comment on the word therapeutic. So these things can get very toxic. You begin by thinking that it's therapeutic, but then when you grow and you get addicted to this validation from thousands of strangers on the internet, and then that's what. So a large part of the last 2 years, I've posted every single day, even when I had like presentations and seminars to give, when I was traveling. I would like put up a story and say, "Hey, I'm going to be busy, so there'll be no post." Then I'll be posting the very next day because I could not live without that validation. So it's like I pressurized myself so much, and I feel really bad about it because I compromised on my social life, on work, on a lot of things just for this. So people should not do that, first of all. You should learn to maintain a discipline. So now I've realized, and now I have kind of I now I spend more time with work and less time on that. So now I'm like posting once in 4 or 5 days, maybe. Uh, but so yeah, I think until now when people have asked how did I manage time, I said you fix your priorities and then you'll be fine, like you understand that this is something I really want to do. No matter how busy you are, you can still manage. But it sounds good in theory, but now I realize I've actually sacrificed a lot of quality time doing this. Not that this is of less quality, but
Definitely.
but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, I
my
get it.
priorities were not so good. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, set
I
your
was gonna.
priorities correctly.
Sorry, I was continue with.
No, that's what I'm saying. Set your priorities correctly, even if so. You have to understand why is this your priority. Is it because you actually want to watch a film and write about it, or you are compelling yourself to post so that your follower count doesn't go down, or your engagement doesn't go down, or there are still people remembering you and liking your post? Because that's what happens on social media. In At the end of the day, it's about validation. Otherwise, you can just write in your personal diary. Why
Hmm.
are you putting it out there for people to see? So that's a very important line you have to draw for yourself. So therapeutic is just one aspect of it.
Yeah, I was gonna build up to that question only. That once you start posting on Instagram and once you get that kind of viewership, then you feel the need to cater to that viewership. Maybe
Yeah,
you didn't start with wanting that viewership, but once you get it,
exactly.
you are like, oh, maybe I'm responsible to,
Mm-hmm.
give them content all the time
Yeah, yeah.
and give them my views all the time. I understand that feeling definitely.
Then it becomes doing for them and not for yourself, which is
Yeah,
harmful. If it goes down that hill very fast, it can be really, really harmful to you. Affect
that's like
a
the
lot of
whole negative aspect of
time. Yeah.
social media in general. And yeah, when it comes to like creating this kind of content where you started off with like a personal view and like something that was personal to you, but then it just develops into this job almost like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Mhm.
Yeah. um Other than that, do you have like a recent favorite? This is actually a pretty bad question. Whenever someone asks me what is your favorite film,
That's
I'm
why recent word is important. Don't ask favorite film.
हाँ हाँ वो नहीं होगा. So recent में what's like a good, really good film that is you still can't stop thinking about?
Hmm. So that would be this Malayalam film called The Great Indian Kitchen,
Okay.
which I watched recently. So it's unfortunately it's not on any like leading OTT platforms. It's on this new international Malayalam OTT platform called Knee Stream. Yeah, and you have to like spend 140 bucks to watch the movie, which I did,
Mm.
and it's worth it. It's really, really, really good. So if you can afford it, please try to watch it, and
The
you
Great
can
Indian
read my
Kitchen.
post about it also. It's like just self promotion. um, so I made two posts about it. Okay, and another thing I watched is, of course, I started the year by watching Schitt's Creek, which was the best way to start the year. I don't know if you have seen it already, but if
I
you haven't,
haven't. I need
it's a
to.
beautiful show. Just 6 seasons. They just finished recently. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I started watching This Is Us because
Yeah,
that
I've heard really good things about it.
yeah, that
It's a
was
very emotional show, right?
yeah, it covers a lot of relationship dynamic areas, lot of issues just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Coffee good. Abhi I haven't finished it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
really
I've
good.
heard about
But yeah, Schitt's Creek is also something that everyone keeps recommending.
it.
I will take out time to watch that. Uh, but like, which is one comfort film, or like maybe like one comfort content in general that you keep going back to? Like for me, it would probably be old Shah Rukh Khan movies. I'll no matter how misogynistic they are, I will rewatch them.
Yeah, because comfort stems from like nostalgia and what you saw in childhood, so it makes
Yeah.
sense. For me also it's something similar. So I keep rewatching Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara
Oh
now and
yes.
then. It's like let it play on the side and I'll do my own work. I'll look at it from time to time, laugh at the dialogues, and it's like that. But like you said, your comfort film is like this. My comfort film is also weird. It's Koi Mil Gaya because it's also
Oh
set in
yes.
my childhood. So it's like the first Hindi film I watched in the theater. So uh,
Oh, that is
I was 12
wow.
years
I
old.
don't remember the first movie I watched, but I remember like
Hmm.
one of my best viewing experiences in a hall was Om Shanti Om.
Ah, definitely.
Yeah, and because everyone in the hall went crazy for that movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just
It was really good.
it was a good time. And I don't know about you, but me personally, I miss viewing films in the hall so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Me also.
I
We
I
start going soon.
yeah, just like I feel like personally, collective film experiences have always been better for me
Mm.
because I don't know, even the rhythm of the movie feels better in a hall,
Yeah, yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, and there are
Because
no distractions. Like you don't pause a film to look at your phone. So if someone does
yeah,
that, it is rude actually. So yeah,
true, very true.
I hope the
Uh,
theaters start functioning soon. Not while putting people in danger. I mean to say, I hope everything goes back to normal soon, including opening of theaters. But nowadays, films are releasing in theaters, but it's not like these big films you really want to go and watch. But although this is a good opportunity for small films to flourish as well. So
true.
I really hope people do go to the theaters. But we
Yeah. Other than that, have you ever thought, like, obviously you're doing your own study and everything, but have you ever thought about working for films, or like ever thought about the process that goes behind making films, and have you ever wanted to be a part of that?
yeah, I have. That was also part of the PhD frustration. At the end of it, I was like, I will give up everything and I'll go and be an assistant director or something. Um, yeah, I have thought about it seriously, but I'm not like thinking of it doing immediately right now. Maybe later on when I'm settled with the job or something and have more time at hand. People always keep thinking that that never happens. Settling down with a job means actually you have less time at hand. But yeah, during the lockdown last year, we kind of made a short film by shooting remotely. um, I was in Switzerland and my collaborators were in India, and we just shot over Zoom and everything. So I wrote the screenplay for that short film, just something very basic, nothing much. Um, but I'm, of course, in theory, I'm quite interested in how films get made, and I also like took a course in screenplay writing for fun, and so these things have always been there, but I've not really tried to implement all these things seriously yet. Uh, who knows? There's life ahead of me. Something might happen.
Definitely. Also, like anything small and basic is like a good place to start.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I can tell by your writing that you would be really good at a screenplay. Like you would.
Who knows? Turns out I write something and it turns out to be the biggest disaster of the year. Critics are like, who wrote this and how amateur is this? And nobody will watch this. All these film companion people coming
Oh no,
and I love nightmares.
not a film review. Yes. Uh, but no, I feel like that also we give so much criticism to ourselves only, that it's so tough to start from somewhere. Like I recently started posting like video edits on my Instagram, and I was so scared at first. I was like, they're so bad, and I'm a film student, and like I'll get
No,
criticized.
I'll tell you why. Because criticism is very easy to get nowadays. Everybody is a critic, right? So maybe when you're asking if I want to be a filmmaker or a screenwriter, I would be more confident in the pre-internet era. Okay, when people will come and watch the film, even maybe pre-television era, like 70s or something. Uh, like people will watch only on the big screen, and then the general consensus will come after 1 weeks 2 weeks of houseful, and then by that time people have watched and bought the tickets and you have made your money, so you're fine. Now you are releasing something on OTT. Within 1 hour everyone is writing on the internet, whether professional film critic or not, everyone is posting on their Instagram, Facebook, and then everyone gets to know that okay, this is probably average or below average. So you are exposed to criticism so soon, you don't even have the time to celebrate the fact that you made a release, you know
Uh,
and I don't have the courage to face that, because then By the time I'm smiling and feeling proud about myself, already be in tears. Like, even after seeing one negative review, even if most of them are positive, because negative things hurt more than, collective positivity. I have experienced that. That's why I talked about negative comments on my posts. Uh, yeah, that's the problem. So the situation has changed quite a lot in the past few. Like, you put your film releases on Netflix and someone is watching and they get disinterested in the first 5 minutes. They'll close it and watch something else. So then you are gone. I'm sorry, you are a film student.
No,
I
no,
shouldn't have said
I
this.
I know all of this. It's very sad. बस आप reinforce कर रहे हो
I'm
फिर.
just I'm just saying I don't have the courage to do these things.
I have too much love for filmmaking to leave it.
No, you can do it, I'm sure.
Uh,
See, that's how there's always a lot of talent in the country, and that's why we want promising young talent to come up. And otherwise, how will we move forward, right? If everyone is afraid, I said I am afraid, doesn't mean everyone needs to be afraid. I'm a physicist. I have nothing to do with these things. I'm happy being in my own little calculation zone. I'm fine.
but yeah, it is a good dynamic that you have. मतलब दिन में you are doing calculations, रात में watching and reviewing.
Yeah, there's a balance.
It's good balance, I feel. For me, because like with Zoom classes and just like viewing films all the time for academic purposes, it's become so tough to watch anything for entertainment anymore. Like,
Yeah, I understand. Because even if you're watching something for entertainment, you put this film student analysis there and say, okay,
uh,
this could have been better. And yeah, yeah.
better to like everything. Now that I'm learning, I'm like everything to do, even the smallest of things properly. It's so tough that
It's true. It's a lot of hard work. That's why I don't like criticizing anything right out. Like,
yeah.
uh, I I had once put up this story because when this trailer of Sadak 2 came and everyone was like, hit the dislike button, nepotism, hit the dislike. Okay, the trailer was bad, the movie was bad. I agree. But then you don't judge something without seeing it just like that, because it's not it's not that you are angry with Alia Bhatt and all these people. There are hundreds of people behind the camera working for that. So you have to respect everyone's profession. There's something good that must be there. Maybe the overall product is bad, but that's what I always try to do. I try to look at little good things that might be there, even if I don't like the film overall, because every department is separate. The technicians, the art directors, the set designers, the costume designers, everything is there. You cannot just, you know,
I've noticed that like when you start your reviews, they normally start like on a positive note, even if you end with like I didn't
I
particularly
hated
like.
it. I never read that.
No, 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 you never had. But I didn't particularly like enjoy it. Like this could have been better. But you start on like the positives. Like at least ye acha tha, you know.
Yeah, if I don't find anything good, I don't write about it. Why
Yeah,
just waste my time? Because I have seen so many people, they'll just write a post just to troll something, and I'm like, no, that's not something I want to do, because let's keep it a positive space. There's a lot of negativity in the world already. Why just.
yeah, and that's what like I see with like Instagram, what you said, and just like internet in general, people can just go ahead and give Google reviews into 1 hour of the release of the film,
Hmm.
and mostly these are people who have no idea about like the effort that goes
Ah,
into making that thing, that whole piece of art, like everything, like every
yeah.
film, no matter how much you didn't like it, there's a whole team that goes behind it, like of 100 people,
Yeah.
and people just don't end up realizing that, and give these really bad
Hmm.
reviews.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have done that as a kid before. knowing anything. So that's like, I know, like, if kids can do that so easily, and if anyone can do that easily,
That's
it's
why you need to
different.
be more responsible as a grown up, right?
Yeah,
You need to be mature about. Of course, there's freedom of speech, but freedom of speech comes with responsibility. So you cannot just say whatever.
yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, anything else? Any questions you might have for me?
Questions for you? You want to start another round of interview, like turn the tables?
Uh, uh, yes, this is Rajiv, my son. It is a roundtable conversation with Basundra Ghosh.
No,
Uh,
I was interested in like which area of filmmaking do you want to specialize in? Like, are you looking to be a director or a writer or what?
so mainly direction, but I do love script writing as well. I like, because I want to direct my own stories one day, maybe agar kabhi mauka mile.
बिल्कुल
uh,
मिलेगा.
but पता नहीं 40 साल में maybe. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mainly direction, production. Yeah.
Okay, nice. I would love to see something made by you very soon.
Don't keep high hopes. No, no, no. Stress. अब कुछ करना पड़ेगा. Oh no, बोल दिया.
No, no, I'll remember when something comes out. Just send me. I'll remember.
First thing that'll come out, I'll probably be the sixth AD on it,
That's
or maybe the
it's a
sponsor.
learning curve, right? Then
Yeah,
you work with people and then you learn and you climb up the ladder. So
and this whole like,
it's a very hard working journey. I know that.
yeah, and this entire field is just in general,
Very competitive also.
yeah, you mostly learn on set,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
about
yeah. It's a
everything.
practical experience.
Like, I'm doing it academically because I had no idea about the field, right? I want to learn at least the basics before going into it.
Yeah.
And that is helpful, sure, but I'll still be very clueless once I go out there.
Yeah,
Every
field work is always like that. Yeah, focus on the learning part, not the part where you feel very lost because that will happen anyway.
true.
Yeah,
But, yeah. Other than that, I don't think I have any more questions.
no worries. We talked for over an hour already. It's fine.
Yeah. I hope you had fun. I hope you had
Yeah, a lot. Thanks for
conversation.
doing this. It was a lot of fun. As
Yeah.
I said, I like to meet like-minded people. So, see, this process is still continuing, right? I have managed to talk to you because of the page. So, thanks a lot.
You gave some really fun insights into,
Yeah.
I mean, sad insights also, but
No, it's okay. I see, like every time I talk to somebody, I like rediscover some aspects of myself on the page. Like I didn't pay attention to before, like you said in the very beginning. I focus on characters. So I didn't give it a thought before then while talking. I was like, that's true. So it always helps in some way. So really happy to talk. Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you got to know that. I feel
Yeah.
nice. I feel like I contributed something now.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, great talking to you.
Okay.